You're not alone.
Yes. I think
Basically,
that,
it's like all over the world, those countries and those municipalities that have, put the COVID lockdown in place. And particularly if you're in a medium to high density area and your space that you're living in, it's intense. I'm very lucky in the sense that we live in quite a rural area and we're 2 hours south of Sydney, which is our major city, and we've got a bit more freedom here. And yet in the cities, it's different for all of us and for all couples. It all depends on, what's the pressure coming from money or the lack of money, lack of income? What's the pressure coming from children and children's behaviour? How are the children at home? How are they coping with being confined and being exposed to mum and dad? How old are the children? If the kids are really young, oh, you're going to have, more challenges in a sense,
indeed.
And it's the thing about pressure. It's like the COVID lockdown. I think for many of us has been like a pressure cooker for our relationship. When I say relationship, I mean our intimate partnerships. So our committed intimate partnerships. And so for our intimate relationships, it's like a pressure cooker. And so a pressure cooker will highlight the strengths and weaknesses of the existing relationship dynamics. And unfortunately, it will also highlight if there's any existing fractures in the relationship dynamics. It's got a good chance of actually expanding that fracture and making the pressure will make that fracture greater. And it's
Yeah.
so if you've got a strong relationship, you've got a good chance of it making stronger. If your relationship has got some strain or some fractures in there already, it's likely to make those worse, intensify
Right.
them. I'm
I
very
think that's
fortunate.
true.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate in the sense that it seems to have my wife and I have managed things well where we're more of a cohesive unit with the children. I've got a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old girl and a 14-year-old boy that I live with. And so we're quite a strong unit. And so we've managed that quite well. But I know that there's many people in our community who haven't been able to. The pressure that's been put on their relationship has, in some cases, it's ended, or you've had some separations or major challenges come up.
Yeah. I know more than one relationship that has been put under a lot of strain and with lockdown. But any kind of external, any kind of pressure and extenuating circumstances, I think can either take couples one of two ways. Either, like you said, those cracks that maybe that were there, those slight fractures in the relationship, then become like Grand Canyons with the extenuating circumstances, or it can make you closer. It can work the opposite way and make you more of a cohesive unit, more of a team, even more united. Um, it tends to go one of two ways.
Look, I think, reflecting upon it with you asking this question, there's a it's not just the fractures and the intensity of lockdown. What lockdown also brings us is, we've all got control issues. All of us have got those, and the whole COVID situation and lockdown situation, we have factors impacting on our families, impacting on our finances, impacting on our relationships, impacting on our mortgages, our living circumstances, the communities around us, which are out of our control.
Yeah.
And if we don't
Very
have the emotional intelligence to be able to deal with factors that impact on us greatly, which are out of our control, they're going to be acted out in relationships as well. And so when you've got parents, a parent or one parent, and I don't mean that this challenges are limited to parents. It's you know, if you're living together and you haven't got children living with you, it's still challenging. But how you deal with all these factors that are out of our control and yet are impacting on us in such a great extent for some of us, it has a big emotional impact on our relating. Our own inner world is stirred up, and we become more reactive. We become less settled. Just the slightest things, you know, those idiosyncrasies of our partners that drive us crazy, you know, and we all have them, you know, and it's like when we're under pressure from the outside, those idiosyncrasies which we can normally deal with or just let go of, they just irk us so much, and we just want to, you know, it's just something else that we can't bear, you know.